Alright guys, I'm back with another video, and this time I want to give you guys a preview into the I guess Japanese market. This little radio here I got off AliExpress. Took about 2 weeks to arrive. It was only $20, so $20 radio, aftermarket radio. It claims that it's a car MP3 player with USB SD support. It's a 60 watt, so probably 15 times 4, and then it has a remote. The reason I got this is I thought it was an interesting buy. It looks like, you know, maybe your radio gave out, your car radio gave out, and you have like a 99, 98, 2001, 2002, something simple where the radios are still single DINs, and you could easily swap this. Instead of putting the factory radio back in, you put in one of these cheap radios from AliExpress or eBay. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick unboxing of what's in here and kind of just the form factor of this radio. Most radios are pretty big. Even a single DIN is standard length, but this is even smaller than that. So if you want to take a look, see, here's the radio. You can see the face of it. Let's take this out. Alright, and let's put that off to the side. You get the removal keys, the remote, you can see mute mode, simple remote, and then the power harness slash speaker harness with the inline fuse. I believe this is rated at 10 amps. Then the actual radio. You can see a standard looking single DIN radio, little USB slot, aux slot. Then it also has Bluetooth, and you could see pretty standard stuff. I mean, here, let me lay it on the table. The buttons, you can hear them click. Feel decent quality, not too cheap. And it has a little microphone for your Bluetooth calls. So here you can see the SD card slot, your aux slot, USB with a nice little cover for it, and just your standard buttons. And then this is the where the IR receiver is. And here, let me show you just the length of this thing. So a standard double DIN, I believe, is maybe 6 inches long, so up to out here. This is only about 3 or 4 inches. And then you have the back. So on the back you have your standard harness, and then if you want to do some RCAs, you have RCAs. This is where your antenna goes into, and that's it, guys. I mean, for $20 you can't really expect much, but that's really all the radio has to offer. It's pretty sweet if you're just gonna, like I said, you know, 99, 98, older vehicle, has a single DIN in it, you want to replace it with a cheap single DIN, this is probably an option for you. Instead of going with like a Sony receiver or a Kenwood receiver that's going to be close to $100, this thing's $20. You wait 2 weeks, it arrives in the mail, and installation is going to be rather simple. I mean, it's one wire harness and that's about it, and then you get a control if you want to, you know, use it. This is what's on the wire harness. So you have, you know, typical ground, your constant, then your ignition, speaker, and then your power antenna. So no remote control. You can't keep your factory remote control on this thing. It doesn't have the input to do that, but you do get an IR remote. So yeah, guys, here's just some quick specifications on the radio. Here's a breakdown of the remote and what it can do. Something I forgot to mention, this thing's very light. Normally radios have more of a hefty feel to them, so I'm thinking the amplifier in this thing isn't going to be very strong. So just something to keep in mind when you're, you know, thinking about this thing, is that it's probably not very loud. So don't expect a ton from it, but for your factory stereo system, it's probably going to sound better than something in a 99 or a 98, just because technology has come so far. But yeah, it's a pretty light unit, and here we're going to power it up. Gonna turn this thing on. You can hear it in the background. There's no antenna connected, so remember that. Here, let's tune a little. See if it finds anything. Doubt it. Nothing on there. Let's hit mode. So now we have aux, Bluetooth, connect. Alright, so let me get my phone. Oh, here we go. Car BT, it's claiming it is. Doesn't have a code, so we'll just hit pair. And it's saying we're connected. So as you can see, it came up 2DP, which is the protocol for streaming Bluetooth music.
Rihanna just hit me on a text. Last night I left hickeys on her neck. Wait, you just dissed me? I'm perplexed. Insult me in a line, compliment me on the next. Damn, I'm really sorry you want me to have a heart attack. Was watching 8 Mile, I'm on auto track. Realized I forgot to call you back. Here's that autograph for your daughter. I wrote it on this. How you gonna name yourself after it?
Alright, let's play with the EQ here. So that's flat, class, rock, pop, EQ off, flat. So you can see we switched the EQ to loud by holding this, and it got a lot louder, and there's more bass to it as well. So this has controls for your audio on your phone, so if you don't want to touch your phone, you're riding around, you're playing a song, this will pause it, and then this will go to the next song. Next song. I'll go back. So yeah guys, the Bluetooth streaming works pretty well. Let's try a phone call now. So it says call.
Hello.
Hello? How does it sound?
Sounds good. I could hear you loud and clear.
I sound nice and clear, no disruption or anything?
No, I can hear you loud and clear.
Alright, awesome. And then that automatically went back to playing my music as soon as I was done. Alright, so let's switch it to aux, mode, radio, aux. The Bluetooth is actually louder at the volume than the aux right now. So here, we'll put the volume up. So Bluetooth audio actually sounds better than inline aux audio, and I'm sure it's just the integrated chip into this board just sounds better. It's probably amplified a little more, who knows. And let's talk about the remote. We haven't talked about the remote yet. You can see here's your mode, your regular controls, loud, turn loud on off, mute mode, etc, etc. And then it comes with the battery. You just take this little slip off and that'll allow the battery to make connection. And if for some reason your battery is dead when it arrives, 2025 lithium battery. So yeah, so just a regular micro SD card. It mounts like so. So we'll put that in. Alright guys, so a little trick for the SD card. Make sure that the music is at the top level directory. So I thought it was going to take a while to read, but once you actually have it, you just put your SD card in, and it'll go to SD card, and it'll actually start playing right away as long as the music's at that top level directory. If it's a couple directories down, it will say loading for a little bit before it is actually able to play some music. And the SD card is not as loud as the Bluetooth still, but it's louder than the aux. And I'm assuming the same for the USB. I don't have a USB source yet to play music with. Once I do the install in the vehicle, we'll know more about it. And then the control works with no problems. So you go volume down, volume up, next. There's no problems with it. You can even mute it if you need to for some reason. And then The unit overall I would recommend to someone who is replacing a factory radio in an older vehicle, just because of how inexpensive it is, how well it sounds. There's not a ton of bass, but I'm sure in your vehicle from the factory there isn't a ton of bass to begin with. This unit, at louder volumes, it gets a little warm, but that's just it dissipating heat throughout the body, so it's nothing to worry about. It's a good unit. I mean, just remember that the clock is 24-hour format. I didn't find a way to change that, so if that's a big feature for you, then I wouldn't recommend the radio. Maybe you can get past the clock. Then again, it doesn't have a DVD or a CD player or anything like that. It's just Bluetooth, aux, SD, and USB. I recommend it. Nowadays everyone's using Bluetooth anyways as you're playing music, things like that. No one's really using CDs. And then it even has the SD card capability and the USB capability. So if you keep all your music on a large hard drive, you plug it up via the USB interface and just keep it in your car and listen to all the music you want. But yeah, guys, this is going to wrap up the video for me. I mean, if you like this radio and like to know more about it, give me a thumbs up and check out the links in the descriptions of where you can find it. If you don't want to go the risky AliExpress way and would just like to get the radio, I do have an eBay store where I will start selling these. I'm not going to be selling a ton of them. I do plan to do some installs in friends' cars and maybe some people who are willing to go with this kind of radio, but usually we stick at Mobile Max Car Audio, we stick with traditional stuff just because it's known. We know we have the support for it. But again, this is a cheap option for someone who doesn't want to spend $100 or $60 on a new Kenwood, Pioneer, Sony radio. They can buy this for $20 and install this, and it'll work just as well for their purpose. They're not looking for a killer sound system. It's just something to be able to have a couple newer features on their old school sound system.